I am so grateful to be here in this beautiful city at this beautiful event, and I think so often I have a chance to share my story, but in being in surroundings like this, you can't help but be inspired. And it reminds me of a phrase I once heard, this idea of symphonic justice, that every one of us, whether we're here on the stage or sitting here in the audience, if we're pursuing what we're passionate about and thinking about how we can help people, that it's that symphony that's created that will truly create change. And so I'm here to share with you my little piece of that symphony. I don't know what I'd play, maybe like the flute or something. Probably the chime or like triangle, something really easy. But I'm going to share my piece in that story. So as Brian mentioned, my name's Kohl Crecelius, CEO of Crochet Kids International. And we are a nonprofit leveraging fashion and apparel to empower people to rise above poverty. But before I get too far, I wanted to tell you guys a story. And you see, this story started when I was in high school. Of all things that my older brother taught me, one of them was that he taught me how to crochet. And me and two of my good friends, this doesn't seem to be working, but can we get a slide change on this, please? You got to see this picture. It's the best thing ever. But my older brother taught me how to crochet, and we started this small business. We were from the Northwest. We started making these hats similar to this one that we were wearing on the ski hill. And out of this surplus of hats that we were creating, we went back to our schools and we asked, hey, does anybody want to buy these? And overwhelmingly, on the first day, we got this influx of orders. And we were like, whoa. We started making them. We'd make whatever people wanted, no matter what. It'd be like orange hat with the yellow stripe and green ear. We're like, that's going to be the ugliest hat on planet Earth. But we'll make it for you, you bet. A local newspaper picked up the story and dubbed us the Crochet Kids. And it was from there that our empire was born. We started making hats and learning what it meant to be an entrepreneur. We saved up all this money, and we found ourselves thinking what we would spend money on, and we got to the final conclusion of our senior prom. And we spent our money on these sweet tuxes that I was going to show you a great picture of. I have ruffles and a cummerbund, and our hair was really long. And at that point in our life, we thought we had reached our pinnacle. We bought a hot air balloon ride for our prom dates, and everything was just like at its peak. Luckily for us, that wasn't the case. There was a lot more to life to live, as many of you in this room probably realize, post-senior prom. But from there, as we moved to college, we had new opportunities, and we found ourselves traveling. We found ourselves really having a desire and an interest to put a context and a frame of reference around these statistics that we had learned around global poverty, these things that were so big and seemed so insurmountable, the number of children that were dying every day due to treatable diseases, these things that we read them and all we felt was helpless. We didn't know what to do with those, where to place those, so we traveled. And during our summer breaks at college, we spent our time in different areas, and we started to meet people, and we started to understand that people are people no matter where you find them on any corner of this globe. And we started to have a shift in mentality and perspective of what it meant to help. Maybe wasn't attacking these huge statistics, but it was helping one person. At one point, we found ourselves in northern Uganda, and this was the pivotal turn in our understanding of what it meant to be charitable, what it meant to help. We came across a people group that for 20 years prior to us getting there, they had lived in these tightly packed camps. They're called IDP camps, or internally displaced people camps. Over 1 million people were crammed into these camps in order to protect them from a rebel army that was terrorizing the region. What had also come around that same time were aid organizations, governments, people that were pouring into these communities and offering resources, offering food, offering medicine. Wherein at one point that was extremely pivotal to their circumstances, after 20 years there began to create this unrest, this dependency. And we found that people weren't content in this whatsoever. And as we asked more and more people, what, if anything, could we do to help? They gave us their own solution, and they said, we want to work. You see, before all of this madness happened, we were farming the land. We were providing for our own children. One camp leader went so far as to say, "I feel like a baby waiting for mother's milk. I'm so dependent upon everyone around me." We are capable. And so that's where the fundamental shift in our idea of what it meant to help people changed. It shifted from this idea of how from the U.S. or from ourselves, the things and resources that we have, how can we give those to people? It changed to how can we give people the resources to really take control of their own lives? And the more that we asked that question and the more that we went to our friends with that question, the more the response that we got was people said, "Well, you know how to crochet." And I was like, "Really? We're going to go back to the whole crochet thing? We're going there." All right, let's do it. So the more we thought about it, the more we realized that the beauty and the simplicity of the craft, that something so simple, hook and yarn, and you could create beautiful, amazing things. And so that's what we decided to do. We're halfway through college at this point, but we decided we were going to go to Uganda, and we were going to teach a group of people how to crochet. We were going to give them the skill that we had in an effort and in order that they could really, for the first time in their lives, start to take control back, start to think and plan for their own futures. So we literally went to the Army surplus store, bought these duffel bags. They're about this big around, this tall. We stuffed them full of yarn. I'm sure there were more stuff than any bag has been stuffed on the history of bags. Full of yarn. And each of us carried 2 bags over, and we sat down with a couple of organizations there and identified a group of 10 women that we could start with. And we taught them how to crochet, stitch over stitch. That was the pivotal turn in our next stage of our story, in that they knew how, they could crochet. There was a moment where we were like, what if they're not good at crocheting? Like, I guess our plan's kind of out the window, but luckily that wasn't the case. They did amazing. And we started to send hats back here because we had a new idea, a new concept for creating a nonprofit and how that would be funded. And that was that we didn't want to be relying upon donations exclusively. So this idea that we could create and sell a product, and that it would both be the thing that would engage people in earning an income and at the same time engaging customers back here, and as a part of that process, that it'd be a beautiful thing and that it would be more sustainable in the long term. And today I'm proud to say, as Brian also mentioned, there's over 150, there's actually 173 women in Uganda and now Peru as well that are making the products that we sell here across the country and internationally as well. But there's 2 very important things that I have to tell you about the product. First of all, as I kind of mentioned, it helps with the sustainability and the long-term impact of what we can do. The sale of the products encourage and enable us to grow the work that we do, to have plans, expand to new areas, creating new product lines. We're branching out from just hats to selling bow ties, to hair clips, to neckties, to bags, to clutches, to you name it, fashion accessories. So it sustains the work. But the second thing, and more important thing, is that every product that we make is hand signed by the lady that made it. So you can take your products and look inside and see that Carmen made it. And this starts to accomplish a couple things. First, an education of the fact that products, whatever we wear, products we make are made by people, made by real people with real stories. And starting to think about, wow, if this was made by Carmen and through its purchase it impacted her, what are other things, what other products I can buy that could impact people in positive ways? It starts the conversation. But more importantly, it doesn't end here. You can go on our website and look up Carmen's profile. You can read a little bit about her backstory, about not only where she has come in her life, but where she hopes to go in the future. And you get to understand how your hat purchase has played a role in that process. But it doesn't end there either. After reading Carmen's profile and getting to know a little bit about her story, you can scroll down through her profile and you can write her a thank you note. And this has been one of the most powerful things we have seen in our work, kind of the X factor that we didn't really see coming. But we talk about empowering a person. I should note that our programs not only include a job, but we also go through education, helping people understand how to manage their finances. We have a mentorship program that even enables a woman to have a one-on-one mentor that contextualizes all of this new learning and new income, all of it to what she wants to accomplish in her life. But you can provide all of those things to a person, and I don't care who that is, if it's you or I. We could be given all the tools, resources, access to knowledge and capital to accomplish our dreams. But if nobody believes in us, if we don't believe in ourselves that we can accomplish those dreams, we will go nowhere. And so the role that we ask our customers to take in this process is to write a note of encouragement, writing something so simple as, Beatrice or Carmen, your hat is beautifully done. It keeps my head warm in these cold Chicago winters. You may not know what snow is, but it's white and it's freezing. It's cold here. It's providing something to me. I see that you also want to start a business in your future. I pray, I hope, I wish the best for you and that could happen. And that simple note that takes a minute or less to write is delivered to Carmen. And when she's reading that, she's not only reading words on a page, she's reading someone that believes in her, someone that's validating her and saying, you're good at what you do. You can create something beautiful in a hat. You're capable. You can provide help and utility to someone halfway across the world. You've helped me, Carmen. And I see that you want to do something with your life, and I'm rooting for you. And the message that sends to somebody who had formerly been so isolated, not only in their geographical context, but in their poverty, it starts to make a change. And as we've delivered more and more of these thank you notes back to the ladies and saying, people in the U.S. love your hats, they love the work you do, and they want better for you. You see that there's a shift in mentality of ladies in Uganda and Peru wanting better for themselves. The beautiful part about all this, especially for you in Chicago, is it's really easy. It's really cold here. We say, buy a hat, change a life. And we wanted to make it as easy as possible for people to get involved in this process. So we try and make really cool hats, really cool products. And in that way, through its purchase, not only helping the work that we do, but in the same way, through your words, helping encourage people all the way on the other side of the globe to pursue better things for their life, to accomplish their dreams. And that's what we hope to change, and that's what we hope to instill in people. And a teaching that can happen cyclically from the U.S. to Uganda to Peru, back to the U.S., and to other projects that we plan to start. So I would leave you with this. Buy a hat, change a life. We're selling hats out in the lobby today. I'd love to talk with you guys more if you have more questions. And thank you, Chicago Ideas Week, for having me.